Alright. The second video it will be let's do, I know it's 17 minutes, let's do 18 and breathable places where people actually live. Sorry.
That is home to a mystical community with their very own currency. These are the 15 unbelievable places where people actually live.
Most residents of the floating village, Kim Fa and her family, depend on fishing for survival.
Tristan da Cunha, also known as the Edinburgh of the Seven Seas, this bizarre British overseas territory sits at the bottom of an active volcano in the middle of the South Atlantic Ocean. Tristan da Cunha is the most isolated settlement in the world, and it takes a whole week to reach the island by boat, leaving from the port of Cape Town, South Africa. 1,700 miles away from Cape Town's coast, this remote community is home to less than 300 residents, and is so far away from the rest of the world that the government asks tourists to plan their trips here at least a year in advance. Not only that, but you must email the secretary to administration to let them know why you're visiting the island and what you plan to do on your trip. With no hotels, you'll also have to find a place to crash with local families. While we're on the topic of family, this is one close-knit community. There are only 9 different last names on the whole island. The islanders sustain themselves mainly on the export of crawfish, known as the Tristan rock lobster, as well as potatoes and large plots on the outskirts of the town. So if you like fries with your seafood, this is the perfect place to travel. Just watch out for that volcano. The last time it erupted was 1961, causing a mass evacuation. Who knows when it'll blow again? Hey, did you know that if you smash the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell, you're more likely to win the lottery? So what are you waiting for? Hanging Temple of Hingshan, China. This breathtaking hanging temple is an architectural wonder. Located southeast of Beitong, China, this holy landmark has stood for over 100 years.
Don't break that.
Believed to have been built into the side of the cliff
sometime
between the year 386 and 534 during the Northern Wei Dynasty. Yep, this amazing monastery hangs off a cliffside, whopping 246 feet above the ground. Hopefully, none of the monks that live here have a fear of heights. This mystical temple is made of 40 rooms.
I'm not afraid of heights, but I'm sorry, who would live in the top of the mountain?
By drilling holes into the cliffs and installing wooden poles that hold up to the structure. It's believed that the temple was built in this unusual spot in order to shield it from floods, rain, and snow, and provide a quiet and peaceful place for monks to worship. What's even more incredible is that the Hanging Temple of Hingshan is home to 3 different religions: Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism. It's one big happy family here. Whittier, Alaska. This extraordinary city in Alaska is known as the town under one roof, due to the fact that most of its residents all live in one big building. Yep, Whittier is an extremely unusual place. The only way to reach it is by driving through a 13,300-foot tunnel under the Maynard Mountain, approximately 58 miles from Anchorage. This obscure location is officially the wettest city in the U.S., and every year it rains for 6 months straight, followed by another 6
Oh,
months of
really?
snow. Not only is the weather seriously awful in Whittier, but high winds can
We
regularly
get
reach up
rain
to 80
every
miles
day
per hour.
here.
Okay, we're starting to see the benefit of building your entire town under one roof. The 14-story Towers apartment building is also home to a post office, a general store, hospital, police department, mayor's
What in
office,
the-
church, laundry, an indoor pool, and even a
No,
small
just-
hotel.
Small little town, everything is in one building.
Yet you could live your whole life here and never have to step foot outside. It was built in 1957 as a Cold War outpost for the U.S. Army, and it's now home to the 218 citizens of Whittier.
Oh,
The
wow.
other main building in town is the ominous Buckner Building, an abandoned military facility that was closed down back in 1966. Only the bravest urban explorers have dared set foot inside this creepy, isolated tower block, even though the town's officials try to warn people away for their own safety. You don't have to tell us twice. Tonle Sap, Cambodia. This incredible body of water is the only river in the world that has a tide which changes on a yearly basis. The Tonle Sap in Cambodia can rise up to 10 times its normal height in some areas, going from 3 feet deep to 30 feet deep. But astonishingly, this fickle river is home to a
Tiffany.
large number of floating villages, complete with schools, temples, and even hospitals. These floating settlements can only be reached by boat. One of the biggest villages is home to a whopping 5,000 people. The river branches off the Tonle Sap Lake, and many residents rely on fishing for their livelihood, with more than 50% of Cambodia's protein intake coming directly from fish in this lake. Can you imagine living in an unbelievable location
Oh,
like
guys,
this?
I might have to take my... I had to get my... Do it. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. Let's...
Nada, Peru. Ice-waving town in the world.
Sorry, I ate
Mind-blowing 16,000
potato
feet above
chips.
sea level. But that's not the only thing that La Rinconada is known for. Note, this South American town is also a hotspot for gold miners. In fact, the population of this town increased from a small camp to 30,000 people when the price of gold rose 235% over 8 years. Crazy, right? It was totally unprepared for this booming population, and therefore the town has no plumbing or sanitation, making this one dirty place to live. To make matters worse, there's a serious contamination of mercury in the area, thanks to years of mining in the area. Oh, and did we mention that you might get a deadly case of hypoxia up here? The low oxygen levels at this altitude can cause a serious health problem, including organ damage. And if that wasn't bad enough, many workers here work under the informal Cachorro system, where they have labor in the mines for 25 days without any payment, in return for 5 days where they can work for themselves and bring home as much gold ore as they can find. Yet La Rinconada is an unbelievable place.
So that is what Peru looked like?
Australia. In the middle of the
See,
Australian
I'd
outback,
love to go
over 1,000
visit
miles away
Australia.
from the capital city of Canberra, there's a remote mining town where 2,500 residents live 55 feet under the ground. In a desperate bid to escape the blazing heat of the icy bush, houses, shops,
I don't know, I wanna
churches
live
have
there,
all
but-
been built deep under the ground. Yet up on the surface, it can reach a whopping 48 degrees Celsius, which, let's face it, is way too hot. There's work to be done.
I love to visit, not living there.
For over a century, people have mined for precious gems in this unusual spot. And Petty is actually the opal capital of the world. 70% of all opals on the planet can be traced right
Wow,
back
it looks
here.
nice.
Yet if you've got a piece of jewelry with an opal on it, it probably came from Cooper Petty. Centennial de las Bodegas, Spain. The residents
That's
of
where I wanna
Centennial
go
de las
visit.
Bodegas are living under a rock, literally.
Oh no.
3,000
Think
citizens live in this
I
Spanish
want to
town.
go Spain
Believed that people have been
for
living
me
in
and my
these
friend
since
Alex
prehistoric
because,
times.
yeah,
Turns out that caves
don't
are the
worry, me
perfect
and my
place to
friend
live when it
Alex are
comes to the
just
scorching hot summers
friends, so
and cold winters right. This town was built around the natural rocks and caves of the region, and huge boulders hang over many of the streets, creating cool shade in the hot sun. The name actually comes from the Latin words for 7 times no, referring to the 7 times that Catholic rulers tried to invade the territory and take
Oh,
it
that's
back
what
from
that
the Moors
means.
in the medieval times. Looks like everybody wants to live under a rock. Nowadays, people have lived peacefully in this hillside, and tourists wander the peculiar
Looks
pathways,
nice.
snapping pics for their
I hear
Instagram.
some people say Spain is very pretty there.
Giethoorn, Netherlands. This romantic town in the Netherlands is famous for having no roads and no cars. So how do people get around, you ask? Well, the clue is in its nickname. Known as the Venice of the North, this quaint paradise is connected by wooden arch bridges and 4 miles of canals. And most of the homes sit on their own private islands. Wow, sign us up. Life with no traffic sounds pretty awesome to me. Now, Giethoorn seemed like a
That'd be nice to have no traffic around here where I'm from.
This quiet town was actually founded nearly 800 years
Where I'm
ago by
from, there
criminals and
there
mercenaries
is a lot of
escaping
traffic.
from the law and starting a new life off the grid. These days, however, the residents of it prefer to enjoy their life in one place rather than on the run. For sure, from their own private island, we feel the same way too. Slab City, USA. Welcome to Slab City, also known as the last free place in America. Yet this curious community has chosen to live on the ruins of a demolished military base.
God, that's love,
No
yeah,
public
right.
utilities, and only some bare slabs to build from.
The Holy
Sprawled out
Bible.
over the Sonoran Desert in California, Slab City is an hour north from the Mexican border. And every winter there are around 2,000 people that flock here to escape the cold and experience off-the-grid living. Here, this eccentric town is only inhabited by around 150 residents during the insanely hot summers, but for the rest of the year, the odd town is home to artists, drifters, free thinkers, and adventurers. But living here is no walk in the park. With no utilities, residents have to rely on solar power and generators, and are required to take a drive into the nearest town in order to pick up gas and essential supplies. Perhaps one of the most well-known landmarks of this extraordinary town is Salvation Mountain.
Don't let them kidnap me, girls.
Adobe and straw. This unique mountain artwork, created by Leonard Knight, is covered in 500,000 gallons of
There you
colorful
go.
latex paint and breathtaking murals, capturing the fire and free spirit
I'll
of
let you know
Slab
this
City.
video is 17 minutes.
Matmata, Tunisia. This city in the Tunisian desert is so well hidden that the rest of the world didn't even know it existed until the 1960s. Located in the valleys of the Jebel Dahar region, this is one of the only traditional Berber villages left in existence, and it's an incredible example of the way local people have been building their homes for thousands of years. Dug into the soft sandstone, these underground houses start off as a deep pit in the ground, before chambers and passages are carved out from the center. These structures are known as troglodyte houses, and if you recognize them, that might be because they were featured in a very famous blockbuster movie. That's right, the city of Matmata in Tunisia was the filming location for Star Wars, and scenes of Luke Skywalker's house were actually shot right here. Yeah, this unbelievable place was the inspiration behind the fictional world of Tatooine. And if you're a true Star Wars fan, you can even spend the night here.
I'm not a Star Wars fan.
Pod
Sorry.
races. The villages, United States of America. Getting old doesn't have to be boring, especially not when you live in the fastest growing, best selling community in the U.S. Yet the villages in Florida is a totally epic town where only people aged 55 and above are allowed to call their home. That's right, seniors only. If you're under the age of 19, you're only allowed to visit here for a maximum of 30 days per year. But don't worry about grandma and grandpa. They've got
Oh,
better
that
things to
sucks.
do anyway. Yeah, this 33,000-acre estate is home to over 100 restaurants. There's live entertainment 365 days a year, completely free of charge. Every night in the 3 town squares on the complex. An estimated $200 million per year is spent by the residents of the villages in the eating and drinking establishments alone. There's even an annual Senior Olympics, where villagers take part in 16 different
And
sports.
see, this is where my brother
Basketball,
want to live.
archery,
I'm
and
like, why
volleyball.
he want to live in
This
Florida?
exhilarating elderly community
One,
also
it's
boasts
hot, and
more holes of
two,
golf than any other facility in the
it's
world,
far away.
with over 690 holes. Yet more than 132,000 residents are living their best life in the villages, and approximately 4,500 new seniors move in every year. Well, who can blame them? Hallstatt, China. If you can't buy your dream home in an idyllic European village, then why not just build your very own replica? That's exactly what these Chinese mining companies did when they cloned the Australian town of Hallstatt. This traditional mining town saw created one of the three most beautiful places in the world. But instead of wasting time and money on plane tickets across the world, this Chinese company decided to construct their very own version on their doorstep. Located in the Guangdong province, this fairy tale village was built in 2012, but it actually looks identical to the 16th century original thousands of miles away in Australia. This novelty
Wow.
housing development was designed to house the super rich elite of China and attract tourists who want a taste of European culture without leaving home. It's estimated this ambitious project cost near to $1 billion. The real town of Hallstatt in Australia didn't even know it had been cloned until this Chinese version was almost completed. Menchiat Nasser, Egypt. Known as Garbage
Yeah,
City, this
speaking of
Egyptian
Egypt,
slum has a
I
population
used
of
to want to
60,000
visit
people, all living on the
want to
outskirts
go
of
Egypt,
Cairo,
but
surrounded by piles of trash from the inner city.
yeah, no.
Residents make their living by collecting garbage from all over Cairo, thanks to the fact that the city itself doesn't actually have a garbage collection service, despite the fact that almost 20 million people live there. Yeah, that's
Ugh.
a whole lot of litter. Residents travel into the city every day, collecting rubbish from door to door for a small price,
How?
then take it back to their homes
Do-
on the
Oh, that's why they don't have trash cans like we do.
monkey carts. That's
Cause
right,
I
this
got
is where all
a
the
friend
trash
from
ends up.
Egypt, and she
Mountains of
knows.
garbage are then sifted through for recyclable material, and nothing goes to waste. In fact,
Wow,
it's estimated that
that's a
around
lot.
90% of the garbage is recycled.
Oh, wait a
Pretty
minute. Yeah,
impressive,
they
right?
do have trash cans. I'll say they better have trash cans like we do.
This mysterious location in Italy is in the foothills of the Alps and was founded by leader Umberto Arruti in 1975
That's where I want to
with over
visit.
24 followers. Living together as a commune and eco-village, this spiritual
Okay,
community got to work
there's
building a
reason
huge
why I want to
underground
go
temple,
Italy.
building around the clock for 15 years in total secrecy from the
Beaches,
Italian government.
shopping, and to get some ice cream. And to get some Thai food.
The temple houses here are
That's why.
with 25 feet high, and even include a four-sided pyramid decorated wall to wall with mirrors. There's a room covered in gold leaf, always painted with flamboyant murals, and several other mysterious
That's
chambers,
pretty.
each with their own symbols and
I
rituals.
want to go fishing
People that
there.
live here call each other by animal names like sparrow or mole.
Oh my
They even have
gosh.
their own currency, known as the credito.
Kurito. So that's how you say their money. Kurito.
Lives are still shrouded in myth and magic. Jaisalmer Fort, India, also known as the Golden City. This epic Indian fort
Almost
stands on
done.
yellow sandstone and is one of the largest desert fortifications in the entire world. The UNESCO World Heritage Site was founded way
Yeah.
back in the 12th
Also, I
century.
said I want to go
Guarded by
visit
3 layers of
India,
stone
but
walls to keep out intruders. Believe it or not,
no
people
thanks.
actually live here. Yet thousands of residents call the majestic
Wow.
Jaisalmer Fort their home.
If I go
There
India,
are
I
many
could eat
shops,
the India
restaurants, and
food,
temples to visit right
like
here in the middle
curry
of the
chicken.
enormous
That's
Thar
what
Desert.
I'd love to
And
eat.
if you ever get bored of exploring within the walls of this ancient fort, you can always venture out into the sand dunes to seek adventure. Rumor has it there's even a sinister trail that leads to abandoned desert villages haunted by ghosts. Creepy stuff. So, where out of all of these unbelievable places would you
Alright, hold on a minute. I will see you guys for my the ones that I see you did.